1 in 11 children suffer from hand-caught-in-things syndrome. 1 in 27 of them suffer with it throughout their adult life. Like Paul here. Paul contracted hand-caught-in-things syndrome when he was 14. A budding tennis player, Paul was tipped by many to turn pro, but those dreams were soon shattered that fateful December night when he contracted hand-caught-in-thing. Paul has asked for his voice to be distorted so as to hide his true identity.
So playing tennis, and I was with my best friend, and one of the balls went out. He told me to go grab another one. So I put my hand in to grab another one. My hand went in. The only thing is, it never came out.
I made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I'm the first one to admit that. I mean, who hasn't? But yeah, Mum always said, keep your hands out of the jar, out of the cookie jar, and I haven't even seen my hand in 10 years. I mean, I've seen it because it's see-through and stuff, but I haven't actually seen it.
Our dad was really encouraging, I'm really lucky I had such a good father that was, but I think that kind of makes it worse because I sort of feel like I let him down a bit.
This interview marks the first time Paul has truly opened up about hand-caught-in-things syndrome. Like most sufferers, Paul thought he was alone and has led an isolated life. Like many sufferers of crippling diseases, Paul suffers from denial. So every afternoon, he makes his way down to the local tennis courts to hit the ball around a few more times and try to recapture some of his glory days. Paul faces many challenges on the way to the tennis courts. The school children taunt him, call him names, and throw rotten apples at him. But even though it doesn't show, you can tell Paul kind of likes it. It's almost like extra practice, and he always has his tennis racket at the ready to return serve. Arriving here at the local courts often brings back fond memories for Paul. This is the site of many of his glorious wins, but it's also the place where he suffered his debilitating injury.
It makes life so much more difficult than it kind of needs to be. I've got 2 arms, but I can't do 2 things at once. So at the moment, I'm just trying to do things with my left hand. Just trying to get back in the swing of things. See if I can get back to the level where I was before. Just takes practice.
But it isn't long for an old foe to rear its ugly head, and Paul must face his demons once again. Paul has had to learn to play with his left hand, and often has to improvise ways to get the ball in the air, as no one will play with him. It isn't long before frustration sets in. Paul gets easily angered by his inability to play.
What? Yes. Sometimes I wear a sock. It's nothing to do with circulation. It just gets really cold, so I like to.
Paul has been waiting to hear from a professional coach who he contacted about possible training. The coach calls during our interview. The news is not what Paul had wanted.
They can't compete anymore. No one wants to coach some freak. It's just hard.
Paul doesn't take the news well and curses his hand-caught-in-thing syndrome. And for this sufferer of hand-caught-in-thing syndrome, it looks like it's back to the drawing board of life.
I mean, like, tennis was such a huge part of my life, so I've got this empty void, so I try to fill it with, other things, like golf, bowling, cricket, just to no avail. I'm screwed, basically.
So, Paul, what's the container actually made out of?
It's just plastic.
It's plastic. Have you ever thought about just cutting it off?
Yeah, but like, I'd have to cut down, and I could go Vegas on it, and I could die.
Right. Is there a ball still inside the container?
Yeah. It's the last ball I ever reached for. This one will never let go.
Are you just holding on to the ball?